The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico de Haan and Paige Clark.
Good morning, I'm Nico de Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. And it's a beautiful morning in downtown Clearwater. It's 49 degrees and clear skies, going up into the probably around 70 degrees today. So it's going to be rather cool for us, but I know you're having a nor'easter up there in the east, so everybody batten down the hatches, and this is the third one in a row, isn't it? Remarkable. If you have any questions or anything you want to discuss on the show, you can reach Paige and I at TFNN.com. Nico or Paige at TFNN.com. Of course, Paige is out today. She is on vacation, went to see her son in Lake Tahoe, so hope she's doing well, maybe on the slopes, getting some skiing in. That would be awesome. If you have any questions, of course, you can reach us, and we're taking your phone calls now at 877-927-6648. Before we start, I'd like to remind you to pick up our Health Signals newsletter. I've got a great insight here for incline bed therapy, and this is kind of discovered really new for me. You know, we got some new beds recently, the Sleep Number beds, so they tilt pretty easily. And for about two decades ago, this British mechanical engineer said he had a real interest in how things work and developed this difference between the gravity and how it affects our fluids. This article goes on to explain that, and I've been sleeping on this incline, which is about 5-inch incline, 6 degrees, and really helped me. So, take a look at that article, and there's plenty of other good articles in the book, but this one really piqued my interest. So, it's pretty easy to try. You can prop it up. If you don't have a Sleep Number or a bed that moves, then you can just wedge something underneath it. And a lot of people are doing that. So pick up the Health Signals newsletter, folks. It's only $10 a month, which is $5 per issue. Comes out on the first and third Friday. It used to be Friday. It's Tuesday of every month. So please pick that up. Also recommend to pick up some Primal Edge, over 310 organic cell-ready ingredients that are liquid. It's really easy to take. It tastes pretty decent, and it's got everything you need to start off the day right. And it's all powered by fulvic and humic acids, which are really the preferred delivery system. In other words, it tells you what the body lets in, and it also stops the bad, it lets the bad stuff out. So it lets the good stuff in, the bad stuff out. So please pick that up. Found an article that was pretty interesting today. Research finds little difference among diet plans in the long-term effectiveness. And this piqued my interest because, of course, we have so many diets in our society. It's really hard to know, I guess, what to do. I mean, it's really confusing, and a lot of people are on all these different diets, and until you find something that works, you're going to kind of bouncing around. But whether you pick up low carb, low fat, or any other diet plan, scientific research indicates each can help some people achieve modest long-term weight loss with potential improvement in health risks, according to the scientific statement of this society. This is the statement from the Endocrine Society. The authors found the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet to provide demonstrated benefits for improving cardiovascular health, and in lower calorie versions may be beneficial for weight loss. It says, given the number of diets, medications, and surgical procedures available to treat obesity, the best approach for each individual depends on genetics, health, and how well they can adhere to a particular regime. Still, maintaining long-term weight loss remains challenging, and individuals with obesity can expect to regain weight when they stop treatment. This is kind of disturbing for me, and I see this, though. My wife and I visit a friend every now and then, and he's rather heavy, really nice human being, really overweight, and has had problems for years and years. Very handsome man. Man, if this guy was slim, he'd be one of the most handsome people I ever met, I think. Real nice disposition, too. Struggling, has, of course, diabetes, and struggling with that. And he goes on to these different types of programs that seem to, he drops maybe about 20% or 30% of the weight that he needs to lose, and he's starting to look good, and then all of a sudden it kind of stops, and then slowly but surely he seems to gain back weight, all the weight, and maybe even more of the weight. And we see this particular pattern a lot, and this is really what's happening in our society today, especially in the Western world. The stigma around this disease makes it difficult to address obesity as a public health problem, says this guy, George A. Bray, MD. He's Louisiana State University Pennington Biomedical Research Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He chaired this task force and developed the scientific statement. He says there's often a mismatch between the patient's cosmetic goals and what realistically can be achieved with diet and exercise. Why a modest 5% to 10% weight loss can be significant, can bring you significant health benefits that may not provide the cosmetic changes patient seeks. These types of articles are really confusing because are they talking about cosmetic types of things? Are they talking about just straightening out your act and eating the right way? What are they actually trying to do? It's really hard to pick this out. He says obesity remains a worldwide public health issue. More than 1.9 billion adults worldwide meet the criteria for obesity or overweight, according to the World Health Association. And obesity is, of course, associated with a lot of different things: shortened lifespan, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, some cancers, kidney disease, sleep apnea, osteoporosis, all their kinds of conditions, and weight loss can lower the risk of developing these. Of course it can. So what's holding people up here? I think a lot of it has to do with the confusion of so much information out here. Go on this diet, go on this diet, and take this supplement, take this other supplement. And I think it does get confusing. And, what Paige and I often talk about is, we have to eat real food. And I think it's confusing for people today to find out really what real food is. And to me, of course, you have to go back to the prime diet that we were raised on as hunter and gatherers, which means that mostly you're eating wild things, and probably if you're out in the wild and you're going to eat, you're going to go for more bang for your buck, which means you're going to get the meat first, and whatever else you get is kind of a supplementary. So that's the way I kind of look at the things here. So I guess we're approaching the... I don't hear the music, though. Yeah, we're approaching the thing, and we're going to take a short break. So the number here is 877. You'd like to join this conversation, talk about diet today a little bit, and some other things. So please stick around, folks. I'll be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Back to the show. I'd like to remind you to pick up the Health Signals newsletter. In my Primal recipes, I've got an interesting article about different ways to use bitters in your cooking to enhance your meals, and of course it's going to be healthier for you too. Getting back to this article, research finds a little difference among diet plans of long-term effectiveness, and the authors examined the latest scientific evidence on the variety of diets, commercial diet plans such as Weight Watchers, exercise plans, obesity medications, and types of different surgeries that are used today. Based on a review of more than 400 studies and peer-reviewed articles on obesity, the experts found all of the weight loss interventions had a high degree of variability when it came to effectiveness. It says individual weight loss approaches work well for some people and not for other people. Currently, we have limited genetic and other information to predict which intervention will work for each individual. This demonstrates just how complex the problem of severe obesity is. And I don't believe that for a minute. I think when you look at these diet plans, I think therein lies the problem. We have to go really back to a natural way of eating, a very simple plan, local food from a farmer that's local, people that you know and trust. This is the way food should be produced. And here in America, we're just shipping it all over the place, all over the world, really. When you talk about this fast food industry, remember those articles of last year when they're shipping the chicken parts over to China, and China makes the chicken patties and then sends them back to us. I mean, it's pretty insane when you think of the cost of moving something across the world. And the chicken nuggets, how inexpensive are they? So there must be no value in that whatsoever. And if you're talking about eating that type of food, and you know, I don't think Weight Watchers is far off of those things. They're still prepared foods. This is something that you just shove into a microwave most of the time, which I truly believe that you use a microwave and you destroy most of the life essence that's in food. So come on. So this type of approach is not good at all. It also demonstrates here how severe the problem is. It says surgical approaches tend to lead to greater and long-lasting weight loss than other treatment options. So now it seems like they're pushing surgeries, and surgery is a major, major thing in your life. And for some people, and I know several people who've gone to surgeries and done quite well, also have seen people who've gone through surgery and not done well. It's gained back in other places. I remember I had a client years ago that was heavy and had this abdomen surgery where they take all the stuff out of there and they sew you back up and reduce the skin and everything like that. And then slowly but surely the weight started gaining back into the neck area and into the arm area. And that's another problem. Since then, that person has straightened out their diet completely and looks really good. So it really depends on what you're going to be doing. Recent studies have examined whether some individuals with body mass index, BMI, that meets the criteria for obesity can maintain healthy blood pressure, cholesterol levels, blood sugar, and levels of fat in the blood called triglycerides. The statement authors concluded metabolically healthy obesity is likely a short-term state, and individuals who fit in the criteria are less likely to develop or are more likely to develop metabolic and cardiovascular problems over time. So being healthy and heavy at the same time probably doesn't sync together. Although I know a lot of health people that are really agile at a heavy weight too. And for instance, would be like John Belushi. I remember he was doing flips on stage on Saturday Night Live, and he was all heavy all his life, has had major endurance. So people can survive really well in this, and most people who are heavy are strong. I mean, to carry that weight around is a huge thing. Let's see, effective treating of obesity is critical if you want to be able to address the devastating impacts diabetes and cardiovascular have on public health. We're seeing promising research into diabetic medications linked to weight loss, the use of peptides to enhance weight control, and improving techniques for modulating the way food moves through our digestive system and absorbed into the body. As our scientific understanding of obesity continues to improve, we hope those will lead to the discovery of new treatment approaches. So here they're looking really for treatments, and they're not really looking at diet, I believe, at all. So this is a scientific mag called Science Mag. And I'm always interested in when they put this into a scientific type journal and come up with no answer at all, basically, is what it looks like. And there's a lot of people in this thing. The Science of Obesity Management, an industrial scientific statement, will be published online to review. The study had more than 18,000 members, including scientists, physicians, educators, nurses, and students in 122 countries. So this is a broad-based thing that was run across these people's desks, and then they signed off on it, I guess. But I don't know how you get 18,000 members to look at this. I guess this is you just send it to them and hope they look at it. I don't know if there's any confirmation of this at all. So this is a real problem in our society, folks. We see it. You go to the mall, you go to the airport, and you see people that are overweight. So straightening that out would be, if I was overweight, the number one thing. Gosh, if I have 5 pounds extra on me, I feel like crap. I mean, it really does affect you. So if you're heavy, I recommend starting to look at diving into this whole internet and looking at the different diets. And I recommend going to the Western Price organization and starting there to get an idea, because they really explain what our ancestors used to do, what people are doing today, give you lots of different alternatives of what you can and cannot eat, going more towards what our ancestors ate, mostly animal-based foods with a little bit of plant food. The way I look at food is I think animal food is my main food, and the plants are kind of my medicine, a little add-on now and then to boost things up. When I take any supplements besides the Primal Edge that I take, it's mostly these types of little carbohydrate plants or enzymes that we get from plants to help boost me a little bit, when I'm not feeling good, and there's a lot of them around. So pretty interesting to read some of these things, but I think that they're really on the long track. I think diet has everything to do with it. I think diet can be individual, but I think the bases are there for us to understand that animals are probably the thing that we should be eating most of. And most of the news that I hear about the worldwide distribution of food, we're talking about, you know, shipping carbohydrates here and there, and nothing about the animals. And if you read all these articles about how we're going to feed the billions of people in the future, they're really talking about agricultural foods. We're not talking about enhancing anything, so our meat is clean and good and easy to get. So anyway, we're up on a break here. I'd like to remind you, please pick up my Health Signals newsletter. And I got a new one coming out. I already wrote it. I'm going down to the Keys for a few days, so won't be around this Thursday, but I'll be back on Tuesday with another show. Pick up the Health Signals newsletter, folks. It's only $5 an issue, $10 a month. Gets it to your door every single day, so please pick that up. And I'll be right back. The number here is 877-927-6648. Give me a call, folks.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico here. Paige is out in Lake Tahoe visiting her son, so hope she's doing well out there and hope the weather is doing good there. It's a beautiful day here, though. Found this article here from the Next Avenue, how to keep from getting sicker in the hospital. And of course, if you're obese and you're going for operations, or if you're just plain not feeling well and you need to go to the doctor's office or go to a hospital, we always think this is a great place to go, and this might be not the best place to go. I know in the doctor's office, if the flu season's there, everybody's sneezing and coughing in the doctor's office, you're more likely probably to get it there. So when we think of a hospital as a place to go for healing, not for getting sick when we arrive, but hospitals and other health care environments are full of bacteria and viruses that can spread from person to person. Hospital-acquired infections are a major yet often preventable danger, resulting in thousands of deaths each year. The unfortunate reality, this author says, and he's the director of healthcare associated with the infection prevention programs at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, that's the CDC. He says the unfortunate reality in some cases our medical system is designed to fail. Of course, in some cases. Clinicians don't often follow recommendations in the caring for the hospital patients, and also they don't always communicate well with their patients or other people in there. And antibiotics are given to too many people who don't really need them, he says. So how can we get infections? There's a list here. The most common types of hospital-acquired infections include the association with the tube inserted in the large vein of some patients to deliver either medication, fluids, or collect blood. A central line is different from an intravenous tube, the IV, placed just under the skin, which carries much less risk of infections. About 15 to 25% of hospital patients are hooked up to a urinary catheter, which drains urine from the bladder, the CDC says. 3/4 of the people who get the UTI in the hospital get it because of the catheter. So if you're getting these type of UTI infections, then you're getting it because of the catheter. The longer it remains in, the greater the risk. As the name suggests, these are infections in or about the area where the surgery took place. They may be superficial, affecting only the skin, or deeper, involving things like your organs. Patients who need a ventilator or a tube inserted in their lungs to breathe may be infected by the germs that come in through the tube. Ventilators are often used during surgery or when a person is very sick. There's also dangers with the use of antibiotics. Antibiotics, of course, can save lives. They're absolutely critical for healthcare. Some people dispute that, but we know that overuse of antibiotics happens in about 50% of all hospital patients. This is true also for the doctors. You know, a lot of people have maybe, I noticed this in the last few weeks, that in Florida we had a heck of a flu season here. It got really warm for a little while, then it got really cold. Trees are confused. They started dropping all these things. And we have a lot of oak trees around our house, and when they drop, you can really feel it. And for a few days, my nose was running like crazy. So a lot of people will go to the doctor and say, you know, I need a boost here, give me some antibiotics, and, you know, the antibiotics really don't work for this type of infection, so you're really using it for no reason at all. And often you feel better because you're already through the worst by the time you get to the doctor. Antibiotic overuse can lead to another type of infection, often called C. diff. C. diff can cause diarrhea or life-threatening swelling of the colon. In recent years, such infections have become more frequent, severe, and hard to treat, according to the Mayo Clinic. Giving antibiotics when they're not needed also results in the drugs becoming less and less effective over time. That makes a lot of sense. Patients who are prescribed antibiotics should feel empowered to know why they're receiving these. So always ask your doctor, or if you're the caretaker of somebody, you know, ask questions. I know when my sister was in the hospital here at the cancer center that, you know, we were asking a lot of questions of these doctors. And most of it was, I don't know, we'll go look and see, you know, it might work, it might not, we don't know. And then you start looking around at what they're doing in the hospital and what they're feeding the people there, and it really starts, for me, it starts questioning, you know, is this the place I want my sister to be? Of course, it wasn't my decision to put her there, and I'm not going to bring a bunch of ammunition in and say this is no good. I'm going to go along with what, you know, happened there, and maybe I would have done the same thing. Who knows? You know, it's so confusing. It's a hard thing to do. You have to put your trust in somebody, and often that somebody is always the doctor that you've been, you know, going to see for many years. So it does it's definitely a dilemma. Some of the things to do as far as safety, of course, washing your hands. And, in the hospital, they have all these little gadgets that you just pump, and you have that gel that you put on your hands. Something I don't recommend, but they all use it in the hospitals. And I think this is an endocrine disruptor. It really does mess with your system. I don't think it's good to do, but you definitely should be washing your hands if you go in there. He says, while problems persist, hospitals are taking steps to prevent and control infections. I would much rather be in a hospital today than 15 years ago. Yeah, that probably is true, too. I don't know. I don't like going to a hospital at all, that's for sure. So one of the things that really bothers me in the hospital, I think, is that all the sick people are there naturally. So they're all there in one place, and you have the doctors going in and out and treating lots and lots of people. And it's just not a fun place to be. It's kind of depressing. My last experience certainly wasn't a great one. To see somebody you love there shrinking away, it really did bother me, and still bothers me. And you always question, what more could I have done to help that person? And I don't know. It's hard to say. Is it the 20 years or so that my sister was a vegetarian that did her in? Was it the chemo, before she had any symptoms of any kind? She felt great. And it wasn't until she was about a year into it of doing the chemo, and, time after time going through these regimes and feeling sick and everything like that, and all of a sudden, then the disease kind of pokes its head out and says, here I am. And now, of course, we have to treat it more. So is the treatment killing her? Is the cancer killing her? It's very confusing. And I'm kind of under the opinion, if I go to the doctor and they say, you have multiple myeloma or this type of cancer, what would I do myself? And probably I wouldn't do anything. I'd probably say maybe I can outlive this in a better way than treating me with these devastating drugs that take really all the essence out of you. I don't think it's a good idea. But everybody has to make up their own minds. Like my sister often told me, she says, this is my dilemma. This is what I have to live with. And man, I feel the pain there, and that's for sure. Stick around, folks. I'll be right back. Maybe a little more uplifting subject than the next go-around. So stick around. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Nico here. Paige is on vacation, and she'll be back next week sometime. I found this interesting article in the New York Times to help children's sleep go dark. Let me bring it up here. There it is. And here you show a picture of two of the researchers with a child on a light board. Children's eyes let in more light than adults' eyes do. You may think I'm speaking metaphorically, perhaps, about how open children are to the world and its beauties, or how easily their brains are shaped by what they see and hear. But it turns out that children's eyes are anatomically slightly different, and they do let in more light. And the new study suggests that exposure to bright light before bedtimes can throw their body clocks out of whack. In an article published this week in the Journal of Psychological Reports, or Physiological Reports, I think it is, researchers report on an experiment in which they measured the levels of melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep, in a group of 10 children ages 3 to 5. First, they had the children follow a regular sleep schedule for 5 days, check their saliva several times a day to measure the baseline of the melatonin, and then on day 6, they turned the children's homes into low-light caves, covering the windows with black plastic and swapping in low-wattage light bulbs. So the researcher from Boulder, Colorado, who led this study, said that the children spent the whole day in dim light, and again with researchers tracking their melatonin levels. Then the next day, an hour before bedtime, the preschoolers were exposed to bright lights for an hour by playing on a light table, a glass-top surface containing a bright light source. We know a lot from these studies done in adults and in children, and that every body clock is very sensitive to light exposure, the author says. Particularly in the evening, it tends to suppress the sleep-promoting hormone melatonin. But it has not been studied in the preschool age children, and there's reason to believe they might be even more sensitive. We're trying to simulate what would go on in a home when you put a child to bed. The director of Sleep and Development Lab said she was the senior author of the study. A child who is resisting being put to bed may come out of the dark bedroom and approach the parents in rooms where lights are on. They get blasted with the light. Just even a short exposure of bright light may suppress melatonin and shut down that sleep-promoting effect. Pretty interesting. This is one of the reasons why in the evening, as soon as after dinner, we go to the real low lights. We go to the salt lamps. We have no LEDs in the house anymore. We took all those out and replaced them with more softer light. Some of them are just the same type of light as far as it looks to us, but it's less damaging because it's not the fluorescent light or the LED light, which really has a lot more blue light in it, which really disrupts things. So this is a really good plan, and with children, it appears that them being even more sensitive. And this may explain why I really liked the dark when I was a kid. There was a stage I went through where I lived in a basement for a couple of years. We lived in this house in London, Ontario, and the basement was mine right next to the furnace. And there was no light switch at the there was a light switch at the top of the stairs for the furnace area, but not for my room. So I had to go down, and I put the light on, and then go into my room and turn the light on, and then go back, turn the light off. And then when I got brave, I'd just go in the dark, and that whole furnace was there, you know. It was really scary for like a 10, 12-year-old kid. It was scary to me. But I really did like it when I did close the door, look under the bed, make sure there's no boogeyman there, and then climb in bed. I felt really safe, and when it was really dark, I felt really safe. With the light on, it was always a little bit different for me. So here we go. So the average bedtime for children in this study was 8:27 p.m. in their dim-lit caves with no bright light to interfere. The researchers found that the children began secreting melatonin on average at 7:47, marking the beginning of their biological night. And then the next night they played on the light tables. We found that the bright light exposure suppressed melatonin by almost 90%. And the effects persisted even after the kids returned to the dim light, the doctor said. 50 minutes after the light was gone, most of the children were still not back to the 50% of the melatonin levels they had seen the day before. So melatonin secretion is usually low during the day, then rises in the evenings, causing the body clock to prepare for sleep. The melatonin comes in from the pineal gland located between the two hemispheres of the brain, which is neurologically connected to the body clock central, the nucleus in the hypothalamus, which is in turn influenced by how much light gets through to the retina. The lens is a lot clearer in preschool children. The pupils are larger, which allows more light to hit the retina and a stronger signal to the internal clock. The lens, which allows light into the eye, accumulates protein as we get older, which kind of causes a yellowing. And by the time we're in our 40s, our eyes are dimming for the light. Oh, so actually that's macular degeneration, I guess, or cataracts are starting to form already, is what they're saying, I guess. So the children really do have more of a mirror to the world, you would say. They said circadian profiles and melatonin release is relatively early compared to adults as opposed to children. So the children are much more sensitive to this. Remember that we had talked earlier with Paige about melatonin is very, very important for the sleep. So what happens is when you get into the sunlight in the morning, when the sun is coming up, those first couple hours are really important because that's the light that we need for our body to make the melatonin for us on a standby basis. So when it does get dark and after dinner, when it's time to go to bed, that hormone is there ready to work for you. It's not made during the day. It's made in those early morning hours. So really important for children to be exposed to that natural light in the morning. Of course, with school starting real early, a lot of the children are in the dark, and you can see how this can disrupt it. I think our whole social plan, and I often talk about this, the whole social structure that we use for educating, for jobs, for keeping our economy going is detrimental to our health because of the way we structure it. We now just went to the daylight savings time, springing forward. A lot of times that'll disrupt a little bit more than the springing back, but our governor here in Florida is preparing to sign a law that says the daylight saving time is going to be permanent now. So we're going to be an hour earlier than the rest of the nation on the east. I really feel that Florida should be maybe more on a central time, at least on the West Coast. Now the Panhandle is already that way, so now we're going to get another change. And of course, we all have these clocks that automatically change, so what's going to happen to them? I guess I have to look and maybe take the chip out of that if that comes true. But children, definitely, it makes sense that they're going to be more sensitive to light than we are. They're younger, their eyes are wider, they're larger, they let in more light, and they're new to the world, so they're out there discovering with eyes wide open. So a good idea to get your children used to the low light beforehand in the early evening so they don't have exposure to that real bright light. Folks, please pick up some Primal Edge. You know, this is our one-shot wonder. This is the thing that can keep you healthy especially during this flu season. I know no one that's on a Primal Edge that really had any flu symptoms whatsoever. So please pick that up, and I'll be right back.
You don't buy into that nonsense, do you? You know you can't time the markets. I didn't. And in 2006, I set out on a mission to do just that. I began by surrounding myself with the greats like Tom O'Brien, Larry Pesavento, David White, and Basil Chapman. I read countless books and even looked to the moon and planets for answers. Now, we both know that trading is 80% mental, so I learned the exact tools that Tony Robbins uses to overcome fear. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability. And last March, the folks at Timers Digest began tracking my newsletter signals, which through January 18, 2018, placed me as the #1 gold timer for that exact time frame. Now, I can't officially be recognized until Timers Digest has a full year of signals, but clearly I've learned how to time the markets, and I'd like to teach you how to do that as well. Subscribers to Mastering Probability gain access to my live and archive workshops where I show you the exact same patterns that earned me this #1 ranking. If you're looking for great market calls and an education, sign up for Mastering Probability today at TFNN.com.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks for sticking around. You know, Florida has a new a plan for affordable solar program launched in Florida for middle-class owners. And this is an interesting, Florida is one of the best places if you want to go solar, but only if you're rich enough, it says here, due to the steep upfront cost of around $32,000. Only the upper income families can afford to install solar arrays. There is a novel incentive, however, that changes that, and this is a project that hopes to help the middle-class community see the sun in a different light. The cost for installation of middle-class families is as little as $0 down, and the homeowner gets the solar panels on the roof and a new reduced electrical rate. And you can visit solarvisit.com. Alternative Solar Project predicts that it could save individuals about $2,400 a year, which they hope could be spent on other essential bills. So this is interesting, and I went through the program. In fact, I have a little picture here, I think. Let me see, where did I put it? Right here. This are the solar panels. They just put them up over the, yesterday they finalized it. So I have this rack, I have another one on the other side of the house, and another one on the back side of the house. So we got pretty good coverage on here. They look awesome. They're really strong. The photo cells are made in Korea. Right now, there's no tariff on these yet. The new ones that come into the country will have that tariff. I don't know what the exact percentage is. Good incentive here because you can get 30% of this knocked off your taxes in the year that you put it up. So that's this year. So if you're spending that $32,000, you take a third off of that, you're talking about over $10,000 that you get a tax write-off. So if you're in a good bracket where that money can be taken right off the top, that's a pretty good deal. So the deal is that we've been told is that we've got about 78% coverage on our house, which means that our bill being about $250, we could be spending as little as $50 a month on the average. So what happens is this is tied to the grid, and you get a different meter that goes both directions. So when I'm not home and producing a lot of energy by way of the sun, that means that that meter will be giving us credit to the Duke Energy. And then when it's at nighttime, when it's not sunny anymore and I need the electricity, then they give those credits back to me, so I'm not paying anything. So we'll see how this works. We invested the money because for us, being in our 70s and my wife is getting ready to retire, I'm kind of semi-retired. We're both going to be semi-retired in another year. And the important thing for us is to reduce our monthly bill. The upfront money is not as much of a concern to us. So this really made sense at this time, and we noticed we were the first one in the neighborhood to have this. And pretty awesome looking thing. Of course, we have a metal roof, which is really cool. That means they don't have to go through to attach these things to the attic at all, the wood in the attic. So they actually go sideways into the little peaks that they have on the metal roof. So we got the metal roof a couple of years ago. That was a good deal, and now we've got the solar panels, and we're waiting for the inspector to come out and take a look at those things, and then Duke Energy is going to come out and put that reverse spin on the meter, and then we'll be all set to go, and I'll keep you informed. It's a pretty good plan. I've talked to people who have this already, and everybody seems to be pretty pleased with it. I did quite a bit of research. There's quite a few companies that are selling this. We went with a company here that was from New Jersey, pretty familiar with the types of tiles that they're using, and these people were really good. Everybody was on time, which is unusual in Florida. The salesperson, she was about 26 years old. The guy who came out and inspected us was about the same age, real knowledgeable. All these instructors were real knowledgeable. So I had a good experience with this, and I'll let you know how it goes in the future. Anyway, that's the show for today, and I'll be back next Tuesday, and Paige will be back soon after that. So thanks for sticking around, folks. Bye-bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.